Welcome to the Caregiving Podcast. I'm Inga.
And I'm Julie.
And long story short, we have Caregiving. We are two momtrepreneurs who have built an in-home care business from the ground up, guided every step of the way by God's care and fueled by agape love. Almost 14 years later, we felt called to create this podcast as a resource for families with caregiving needs. Whether you care for a family member or are looking for advice on professional caregiving, we want this to be a platform to support you.
Each week, we will come to you with encouraging stories of families who have found the right balance for their loved ones, tips for how to care for them and you, and much more. We hope you continue to join us each week as we share in this exciting new journey together.
Hello, sunshines, and hello, Julie. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I just have to roll with it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you'll just fiddle fart around.
Fiddle fart.
Do you believe that I would say that?
I resemble that remark, probably.
I actually told our neighbor boy the other day, what did I say to him? Something about piddle dinking and piddle farting around. And he was really shocked.
Oh.
He could not believe it. And I still don't I think it scarred him, unfortunately.
Oh, that's funny.
I could not believe that I would say that he was piddle farting around.
Oh, yeah. No, he was working hard, not piddle fart.
Well, anyway, hello, sunshines, and hello, Julie. How are you?
I'm so good.
So good. The
Yes.
sun is shining.
Yeah. Yeah. Still a little warmer-ish than I like, but, you know.
I know, thanks to an awesome podcast producer, I was able to say, I think I need a fan. Actually, I didn't say it like that. I was like crabbing. I need a fan. Sorry about that, Alyssa. But she did point a fan at me in this general direction.
Our Alyssa, she takes care of us.
She really does.
She makes us look
She's
good
a keeper.
on the radio.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
sorry for you YouTubers.
Good on the radio. Good one, Ellen. What's your claim to fame?
Okay, claim to fame. I was thinking about that. So, kind of a celebrity.
Pretty much a big
when
deal.
it comes to Nirata at motocross.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you have a motorcycle track, those moto people like you know, right? But anyway, we were kind of talking about that earlier, and you said something about being, well, I'm Bailey's mom, and I'm, and I was laughing about that because years ago I took a Toastmasters class.
Yes.
And the very first assignment was to have a 3-minute speech on who are you?
Right.
And I went home and I was stymied because I was like, who am I? I'm the kids' mom. I'm Mike's wife. And what is my identity? So it actually will stop you sometimes.
Right.
But nowadays I'm past all of that. And I'm just like, I am the queen.
You are a very big deal.
The queen. And, and proud to say co-owner of Ipaga Home Care.
Yeah.
And, we have a motorcycle track. We have a ranch. We got a few things going on. And I just own it all, man. Just own that title.
Oh, yes. I think your claim to fame is Farm Mama Fitness.
Oh, boy. Forgot about
it hasn't 100% taken off like crazy wild, but I just have this feeling that it's going to.
Yeah. People
then
want
I'll
to see
have
me grunting and groaning doing my chores. And how about you? What is your claim of the fames?
Kevin Lake's wife, Bailey and Sam Lake's mom. That's really what comes to my brain.
Yeah. Come on, tell me more. You are the queen of
something.
The Lost Lake Farm.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Well, I get to be a part of it. My claim to fame is I make the sandwiches.
There you go.
I am always responsible wherever we go to make sure that the children are fed, and it's kind of fun actually. I take it on as I just like to do it, and so even when we go to shows now, I'm just always making sure like, okay, is it time for me to go get lunch? What does everybody want? I'll go do that. So maybe that's my claim to fame.
Well, your
Sandwich
claim to
maker.
fame in my eyes is when we do a road trip, you are the road trip queen of treats.
Oh, yes. I think I do have a reputation for that.
Yes, I can always know that we're going to get a little bit of every important food group. Chocolate, Mountain Dews, jerky.
Yes, a chicken and a biscuit and spray cheese, because I will introduce you to the finer things in life. Good Lord.
By the way, that does bring up a point.
Yes.
We are way behind on a road trip.
I know.
Let's get that in the books.
Yes, we need to go somewhere. Something has to be done, I'm sure.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to be actually talking about macular degeneration today. And so for that, you brought to us 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7, and it says, "For we walk by faith, not by sight."
Yeah. Short and sweet, but it kind of, when you are a Christian, what happens is you just have to have faith because you don't see God.
Right.
And so as I was looking up different Bible verses that might be appropriate, I was like, dude, this is like 2 ways here. We're talking about our faith and knowing that God is there without physically seeing him. And then we're talking about people that have eye stuff going on and literally the sight.
Yeah.
So
it was very fitting. Well
you.
done, Julie.
Thank you so much.
Your claim to fame can be that you pick out really good verses.
The Bible verse queen. There you go.
We had a scary situation actually with sight. Maybe I'll wait until we get into the topic with my mom recently. So remind me if I forget.
Right.
Why don't you tell us what your good news story is?
Well, did you know that in August, it's National Senior Citizens Day?
I did not.
It's like the 21st.
Oh, we missed it.
Yeah. So it's, these podcasts can be heard all the time. So it's kind of weird to say on this day, but in August on the 21st is National Senior Citizens Days. And so it's very cute. Actually, someone that I really admire, in August 19th, 1988, President Ronald Reagan signed Proclamation 5847, declaring August 21st as a day dedicated to showing appreciation towards senior citizens for their accomplishments, dedication, and contributions. For all they have achieved throughout life and all they continue to accomplish, we owe older citizens our thanks and a heartfelt salute. We can best demonstrate our gratitude and esteem by making sure that our communities are good places in which to mature and grow older, places in which older people can participate to the fullest and can find the encouragement, acceptance, assistance, and services they need to continue to lead lives of independence and dignity.
Wow.
Isn't that sweet?
Yep.
That is the best ever.
That is awesome.
So anyway, with that came a lot of different people saying comments. And it's kind of like our grandma saying, so I'll just pop a couple of out there. Most people don't grow up. Most people age. They find parking spaces, honor their credit cards, get married, have children, and call that maturity. What that is aging. There is a fountain of youth. It is your mind, your talents, the creativity you bring to your life, and the lives of people you love. When you learn to tap that source, you will truly have defeated age.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
good
like
ones.
Well, I am going to talk to you about Isaac Lidsky.
Okay.
Isaac says, I've gained vision by losing my sight. He had a candid and literally eye-opening memoir called Eyes Wide Open. First diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, a degenerative eye disease at the age of 13, Lidsky's sight gradually deteriorated during his teens and early 20s. By the age of 25, he was fully blind. At first, he didn't really notice, but slowly he perceived holes, which only increased in size and number as the years progressed. When he received the diagnosis at the age of 13, he was wrought by fear as a dark and hopeless future beckoned him. Remarkably, as his sight eroded, Lidsky gained deeper insight into human perception and began to appreciate how fear can be more blinding than the disease that robbed him of his sight. As Lidsky realized over time, we don't just see what is out there through an objective lens. Rather, our memories, thoughts, assumptions, and feelings also impact what we perceive. So all of our perceptions, be it sight, sound, or touch, are subjective and are shaped by the perceiver's habits and instincts. Thus, you create and perpetuate your own reality, though it feels like you are passively observing the world around you as it is. During one of his early forays into blind independence, he decided to take a walk on his own using his cane to guide him. He left home on a hopeful, optimistic note, only to be overcome with dread as he discovered he was lost after about an hour of walking around. Fear and its Co-contaminant cousins like embarrassment, shame, and sadness coursed through his being. He even began to panic. But after sitting down to the curb and breathing deeply, Lidsky realized that fear can prevent you from seeing, just like his eyes. He calmed himself down and surveyed the options before him. What seemed like a Herculean crisis a few minutes before now boiled down to a manageable problem of retracing his steps and asking for directions. Overwhelming emotions, he discovered, can distort our perspective as much as or more than a faulty sense organ. By constraining our focus, anxiety prevents us from seeing all of the options available to us. Further, it immobilizes us from taking any corrective action, setting the stage for a self-fulfilling prophecy. In the early days, as his eyes eroded, Lidsky could not help worrying about the future of gloom and doom. But as he gradually adapted to his changing world by using a cane, learning to use special screen reading software, and following practical tips from an occupational therapist, Lidsky had an epiphany that blindness could be tackled if he let go of his overreaching fears and inhibitions. He had to first dispel notions entrenched in him by societal conditioning. For example, he had to dismiss the idea that using a cane made him vulnerable. He had to let go of the earlier assumptions that cast disability as weakness and dependence on others as insecurity. Lidsky admits that he was horrified by the misguided construction of disability that he himself had carried. As Lidsky learned to accept his new reality, he counsels readers to follow their own unique paths without worrying about what other people might think. While his sight grew more fractured, Lidsky found that his other faculties actually sharpened. One evening, he visited a new restaurant along with his wife and their friends. After being led to the table by a waitress, one person in his group wanted to use the restroom. Lidsky was the only one in the group who could guide the woman to the restroom, as none of the others had noticed where it was while walking to their table. Relying on his senses of smell and sound, Lidsky had precisely noted where the bar and restrooms were located. Though his wife and friends did not have compromising hearing or smell, they hadn't utilized these faculties the way that Lidsky had. Over 2 decades after his initial diagnosis that set alarm bells chiming, he declares that blindness feels familiar, comfortable, normal, and routine. Further, he has led a rich life, replete with achievements and fulfillment. He graduated from Harvard with a degree in computer science and mathematics, and went on to study at Harvard Law School. He served as a clerk at the U.S. Supreme Court and now runs a successful construction business. Besides, he has a lovely wife and is the proud father of 4 children. By conquering our self-limiting fears, we too can chart meaningful life paths, eyes wide open.
Wow.
So what I started to say earlier about the scary situation, my mom recently had cataract surgery. So basically they do one eye at a time, right? And when she would go in for each eye, there was some dilating that they had to do. Well, each time that it was just one eye at a time, she was able to drive herself home. And this last appointment that happened a couple days ago, they dilated both of her eyes and it became very, very filmy for her. And after sitting there for like an hour, she started to get really scared because it wasn't going away and it wasn't improving. So Kevin and I were able to get her taken home. But what they said is that actually her eyes had been so bad before that now after this cataract surgery, the eyes are better. So it probably was more evident.
Oh, wow.
And then, by having both of them dilated at the same time. But I did find it interesting that they didn't have her have a driver.
Yeah.
So that is something to definitely keep in mind if you have cataract surgery and have to get your eyes dilated, because it was scary. And just that sense of like, oh, I can't see and it's not getting better, and how long is this going to last? Is it? And then you start questioning yourself and thinking, is it actually getting worse? Yeah. But the good news is we got her home. She was able to get a nice Mexican dinner out of it, and her eyes are great. And she was able to go to dance the next day.
Oh, good. Wow. Yeah. Wow. That was scary.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very much so.
Scary. I love your story so much.
Yeah.
It leads into exactly what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And not just losing your sight, but for every challenge.
Yeah.
So that was a wonderful story.
It's crazy how some of these just, you search and search and search, and then one of them hits you and you're like, oh, that is perfect.
So perfect.
Yep. Anywho, all right. So macular degeneration.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. What is it?
Well, so I want to just start this whole conversation by saying we have had clients that have had macular degeneration. Yep. So one of the things that we do is if we have a client that has a specific disease, we don't just send a caregiver unless we know exactly that they understand the disease, the process, everything. And so but then as we're talking about it, I was just thinking how many people in just general world know about it. They've heard about it.
Sure.
But do they know what that means?
I don't, probably, not to the level that I
so
should.
this is going to be really good, just a good general overall. We are going to say we are not doctors.
Yet, non-medical.
We are non-medical, but we must understand the disease processes of the people that we're going to in the homes.
Yes.
Now, for example, there was one time I did a home visit for a lady, and I said, what do you, why do you need this extra help? What's going on? She goes, well, I have macular degeneration. And I said, oh, okay, so let's explain that to me so I can know your perception of what's going on. And she goes, well, come here. So we walked up to the kitchen window. And as we're looking out the window, she goes, do you see my white picket fence? And I said, yes, I do. And she said, today it's standing perfectly. So I know I can drive. But if I go and I look at my white picket fence and it's leaning, I better not drive today.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, holy crap. Actually, I don't think you should ever drive, ever. But that was her gauge.
Wow.
So she knew that there was days that she don't dare get behind the wheel.
Wow.
But isn't that interesting that she had that as her focus to look at?
That was her test to know.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, and everything that you pulled together for us actually came from the American Macular Degeneration Foundation. Yeah. Right. So what we'll be talking about today.
Yeah, huge foundation, because this is a big deal. The numbers are almost going to scare you, and it's not meant for that. It's certainly just for education.
Sure. Yeah.
So
macular degeneration is the leading cause of irreversible vision loss in adults over 60, and it actually affects more than 10 million Americans. Yeah. The risk of developing macular degeneration increases with age, and if you are 75 or older, your risk is 1 in 3. Like Julie said, the numbers are gonna scare you.
Yeah,
Don't
1 in
let
3.
But
that's a big number.
Yeah,
it really is.
Yeah, because they say that at this point in time, it is an incurable eye disease.
Yeah.
And the origins are still unknown, but science has uncovered many of the genetic and environmental factors that contribute to its development, along with the body's malfunctioning mechanisms that cause the deterioration of the macula, which is a central portion of the retina. The retina is the thin tissue that lines the inside back layer of the eye and transforms light from images we see into nerve impulses, sends them via the optic nerve to the brain, and that is where the vision occurs. The macula is responsible for capturing detailed information from the center of our visual field, and it gives us our ability to read, drive a car, recognize faces, perceive color and contrast, and see fine details.
When the cells of the macula deteriorate, images are not received correctly. In early stages, it does not affect the vision more than a diminished ability to see it in low light. Later, if the disease progresses, people experience wavy or blurred vision, and if the condition continues to worsen, central vision can be completely lost. People with very advanced macular degeneration are considered legally blind. Yeah. So anyway, so basically, because the rest of the retina is still working, they retain their peripheral. So that would be the sides.
Right.
Which is not as clear as the central vision.
Gotcha. Yeah. And they do say that there are 2 types of macular degeneration. So the basic types are dry and wet. Approximately 85 to 90% of the cases are considered dry, while 10 to 15 are the wet type. And Stargardt disease is a form of macular degeneration that's found in young people, which would be caused by a recessive gene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So stages. There's 4 different stages. First is, and they call it age-related macular degeneration. Okay. So AMD, age-related macular degeneration.
Okay.
So subclinical AMD is before any of the visible physical signs of the macula that accompany the later stages of the disease, people start to lose their ability to adapt to dark surroundings. This loss of dark adaptation is more pronounced after than the loss of dark adaptation.
We're struggling with words today. Adaptation.
That happens to most people later in life and must be measured in a doctor's office.
Okay. And early AMD, most people do not experience vision loss in the early stage, which is why regular eye exams are so important, particularly if you have more than one risk factor. Early AMD is diagnosed by the presence of medium-sized drusen or yellow deposits that are beneath the retina.
Oh, so they can literally see that and say, okay, we got Got
Yep.
a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, intermediate AMD. At this stage, there may be some vision loss, but there still may not be noticeable symptoms. A comprehensive eye exam with specific tests will look for larger drusen's and or pigment changes in the retina.
And then late AMD, that would be the stage where vision loss has become noticeable. And that's due to either advanced dry or wet AMD. So causes of AMD, the specific cause of macular degeneration is not conclusively known, but in the interplay between a known hereditary and environmental factors is complex. The more that scientists understand the mechanisms that cause the cells of the macula to deteriorate, the more potential treatments they can develop to slow or stop the disease. The challenges are great because multiple genes are associated with AMD, and environmental factors such as smoking, diet, sun exposures, those things can all impact the disease.
Wow. I never thought about sun exposure.
Yeah.
It really can get you.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Yeah.
There's going to be something about diet in here. Diet and exercise.
Dang it.
Every episode.
Every episode, I'm reminded that I shall eat better. Oh, Lordy.
The biggest risk factor
Yep.
is just age.
Yeah.
Essentially, your risk increases as you age, and the disease is most likely to become apparent in those who are 55 or older. Holy cow.
Don't even say it.
Nothing. Are you at risk?
I have evidently come into that next stage of my life.
Okay, we'll be watching out. Other risk factors, genetics. So, of course, people who have a family history. Race, apparently Caucasians are more likely to develop the disease.
Oh.
Yeah. Smoking.
Yeah.
Doubles the risk. And also, basically, recent studies have found that living in an air-polluted environment is also an increased risk. Diet. Who'd have thunk it? Who knew? A poor diet, high in saturated fats and cholesterol and low in antioxidants can increase the risk for AMD and accelerate its progression.
Okay, so treatments, like you had said earlier, there's really no known cure for it, but they've come up with a huge, just this year, so many breakthroughs.
Sure.
For these things. And so not all of these are going to work for everybody or at all. It's not a promise, but maybe something can help at least slow the progression or you know, I don't know. Medicine is just getting better and better all the time.
Yeah, they actually are playing a little bit with surgery for lens replacement.
Wow.
Some surgeons are experimenting with lens therapies for macular degeneration, thinking that making the lens work better might make the damage easier to move past.
Wow.
And it does say that the surgery is not designed to halt the progression of macular degeneration, but it can help make life with the disorder better. So maybe it's more of a therapeutic type situation. Treatment with diet. So again, eating antioxidant-rich foods can help with management of AMD. It does, in some studies, indicate that a daily diet should include certain fruits and lightly cooked vegetables. Vitamins, right?
Yeah, vitamins A, C, and E. And then also they're talking about different supplements that can be added to your food.
Vegetables that that can help: spinach, kale, red pepper, lettuce, broccoli.
I was going to say, don't tell me broccoli.
Yeah, and then the vitamins, they're like high doses of some of these vitamins: vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc oxide, copper. That can help you.
Right.
Again, I think it's more with a management or a therapeutic type, not necessarily a curative.
Right. Everybody's been hearing so much about stem cell. They now can do some kind of a stem cell implant.
Oh, wow.
So that is a big deal that they're starting to really work on.
Yeah.
For that.
And apparently Prozac. Research in 2021 showed that the antidepressant Prozac may slow the development of dry age-related macular degeneration.
Oh, geez. Okay. Right now they're asking if macular degeneration can be reversed. And right now they're saying there's no known cure once again to reverse it.
Right.
But maybe we can slow the progression.
Right.
And go from there.
It does sound like there continues to be a lot of research, I guess, into how to help people.
Right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
for sure.
Good.
So once you've been diagnosed with this age-related macular degeneration, it's very important to monitor your vision regularly to ensure the best possible preservation of the vision that you do have.
Right.
So there are some different test things I think that you can do. The Amsler grid, it's used to check whether lines look wavy or distorted, which kind of like you were talking with the fence, right?
Isn't that
is it upright or
interesting?
is it sideways?
Oh my goodness.
And then there are, free and downloadable printable versions of this. There's also what is called the Keep Sight Journal. But basically, you just want to stay on top of it, know where you're at with it.
Yeah. While monitoring your macular degeneration, also they say avoid the smoking, eating an AMD healthy diet, which you just talked about, exercise regularly.
I knew it.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Maintaining recommended body weight, recommended blood pressure, and then protecting your eyes from ultraviolet light.
Yeah.
So you got to just kind of do it all. And not just for macular degeneration. Evidently,
it's
it's
just
for
in general,
everything.
every single episode. Exercise, diet.
Oh, don't smoke.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I don't do that. So I got one going for me.
Yeah, no smoking for me either. So there you go. So what are the assistive technologies that people can use?
It's actually incredible, some of the things that they've come up with, and some of them are extremely logical. Eyeglasses with high-powered lenses. They've got those. A good pair of eyeglasses maximize whatever vision a person has. The obvious benefits can include high magnification and telescopic lenses. So that's one way to go. Large print reading materials.
Yep.
They make Sudoku books even. I know that's your favorite. Or in the Bible or any of them. You can get those in the big font.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same with like clocks and phones. Yeah, my mom and grandma use the jitterbug phones and they have the bigger keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually have like closed circuit television magnifiers as well. And all kinds of things, handheld desktop magnifiers.
Oh, I've been to places before where they actually would get the newspaper digital, but in front of the computer, they had a machine or a screen that just brought it, magnified it, made it much bigger. So that was really cool because they were able to actually put, it wasn't just for the computer, it was for any letters or anything that they got. It was like this big.
Wow.
And they could just put it under there and move it around, and it helped them stay able to keep reading.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then there is computer software that can be installed onto people's computers to magnify the screen or convert text, even convert text from like email or internet into speech.
Oh, see, that's cool.
There's just so many options out there. So that's cool.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about we talked a little bit about things that you can do to help yourself. But again, it's the not smoking, eating healthy foods, lots of green leafy vegetables, Julie's favorite. Fish, high in omegas. Avoid processed snack foods, cakes, cookies, all of the fun things. Probably Twinkies and Ding Dongs are off the list.
Our road trip is actually off now.
I guess we can't go. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol levels. Those are all important to maintain. Healthy weight, exercise.
Oh, there it is.
I'm the worst because it always feels good when you exercise.
Yep.
Oh, wear sunglasses or hats. That makes me think of Grandma Cheryl.
Yep.
With
her
her big
floppy hat.
Floppy hat. Yep.
Yep. Oh, your mother wears a visor everywhere.
Mom and Grandma, visors.
Do they have like one for every color?
Yes.
Of their outfit to coordinate?
They even have spares because, true story, I tried to help Grandma put her visor on when she was in the hospital and I broke it because apparently I pulled it too wide and it snapped. No worries. Jean had a spare in the car. Who are these people? I don't even know where.
Well, evidently they snapped one or two themselves.
Probably. Goodness sakes.
That's interesting. Yeah. So basically take care of your eyes. Get in there, start doing your evaluations and all of that. And just like your story earlier, don't panic.
Yeah. Your
body's going to adjust to these things. And if it's something that you can't control anyway, don't let it devastate you.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard, but mind over matter in a lot of things. I mean, easier said than done. I get that. And you just probably want to slap me like, shut up, Julie, shut up. But honestly, God has a plan, and what challenge is he going to give us next? We just never know.
Right.
Yeah. So
But get in there if you're 55 or older in the Julie demographic. Get in there and get your eyes checked.
Oh, I did
How'd it
because I
go?
was worried. Well, because I've started squinting a little bit more.
You and Kevin.
So I did go in there because I was worried that with my own self-prescription of reader glasses that I was actually hurting my eyes. And so I went to the eye doctor and did a quick exam. And I said, so I'm reading with readers, and is that bad? And the guy was like, oh, if you can continue to do that, do it until you have to get this actual script.
Nice.
So as long as it's working for you, don't mix it up. And I'm like, dude, yeah.
Perfect.
Because they come in cute patterns nowadays and this and that.
There aren't a lot of options for dudes, though.
No.
Yeah, because I had to pick some up for Kevin, and they
he doesn't wear patterns.
No, I didn't think he would wear them.
Oh my gosh, they got him in the cat's eyes and the squares and the
cheetah print,
cheetah. But yeah, it's not that. So it's not the end of the world. Yeah. You've got to just work on whatever challenge it is, and
when it comes, you'll have your own test of the white picket fence, right?
Yes.
I'm sure everybody has their own thing that they do to know where they are that day.
Yeah, I'll be looking at my cows. Are my cows standing up, or am I tipping the cows today? Cow tipping.
Oh, goodness, Julie. All right, grandma sayings.
Oh, that.
You said, Prince William said of his grandmother, and we all know who Prince William's grandmother is.
Yes. As I learned from growing up, you don't mess with your grandmother.
True story.
She will go and go and go with you until you hit that one line, and then finally she'll do the smackdown. When Grandma's mad at you, boy, the earth stops spinning.
Grandma Fisher was so funny when we were little. If we would misbehave, she would tell us that she was gonna rip off our arm and beat us with the bloody end, or she would say, "I'm gonna break all your hair."
Oh.
She never did. Even though some of us, my brother, who shall remain nameless, probably deserved it. No.
Just the brother.
My stinking brother.
Yeah.
That's how he comes up in my phone.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm sure he deserved to have all of his hair broken at one point or another. Still does, honestly, but what do you do?
Right.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't yet done so, please subscribe. You can do that on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You can watch us on YouTube. Leave us a review, share us with your friends, and please go and join our Apaga Care and Share Facebook group, and send us your verses and your good news or uplifting stories. Those can be emailed to thecaregivenpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, we love those submissions.
Yes, thank you so much, and peace out, Girl Scouts.
Have a super day.